Well, hello, friends. Yesterday was the second highest number of positive cases of COVID since this pandemic began. Not only that, but many who are showing signs of sickness are not being tested because tests are not readily available. Experts are saying that we have not yet even seen or reached the peak of this wave. Last night, a Zoom board meeting was called so our leaders could discuss our course of action as a church. We know that businesses, schools, and medical facilities are filled up, and there is tremendous pressure on the system. We also know that kids and the unvaccinated are highly susceptible. Surgeries are being canceled, and hospital beds are at a concerning level once again. Throughout the day, different members of the board spoke to leading experts, and we invited Hayden Jacobs, an epidemiologist from 8th Street, to field our questions in our meeting. Hayden spoke to us about the most recent data, how this particular variant spreads, and what the concerns are in the medical field right now. After meeting with Hayden, the board decided that the safest thing for us to do and the best way for us to practice being good neighbors was to worship this week online only, and possibly next week as well, depending on the numbers. The board will be in contact with one another early next week after seeing how the numbers play out, and we'll be in communication with you should we need to do another week of online church only. All leaders were in agreement with this decision, and while it was hard, there was a real spirit of unity surrounding it. This board prayerfully decided on this because, above all, they love you. Now, I'll confess, I have grown allergic to online church, and individualistic, isolated spirituality is not one of the values of the 8th Street Church. But flexibility, doing the things the right way, making space for neighbors, and praying for what we need are all values of our church. That's why this decision was made. So while you too might be allergic to online church, I encourage you to engage in our community this way by watching online this Sunday at 9:30 or 11 o'clock. The board and the pastors are very aware of our weariness regarding this pandemic, but we also want to be realistic. We are not through this thing yet. As one of our board members, Charlie Seitz, says, we are done with COVID, but COVID is not done with us. So we just want to round this corner and do our part in tamping down the spread as we come out of the post-holiday family gathering season. This is a difficult decision because we recognize that loneliness, despair, mental health, and emotional health are all tied into the necessity of being together. That's why you can always stop by the church during the week. We all wear N95 masks around the office. If you need some sacred space, our sanctuary is always open. If you need a pastor to pray for you, we are always available. If you would like us to serve you communion, it's always offered anytime at the church throughout the week. I know there are other things planned, including taking down the Christmas decorations and setting up the church for Epiphany, as well as the homeless memorial. All that were to happen on Saturday. Both have been postponed and will be done at a later date. Also, our class, Unclean with Doctors Paul Jones and Ron Wright, is an in-person class, and it has been postponed until January the 26th. Pastor Banning will be in touch with parish group leaders and call on Pastor Hope or myself if we can help in any way with your kids or your family. This video will be embedded in all of our social media outlets, so please like and share so that we can spread the word about the changes this Sunday. Now, let me say this about any disappointment or inconvenience we may be feeling, and that is this: our pain is in our privilege. Last week in the benediction, I said, without knowing that these changes were going to be made, the church around the world has no idea if they will be able to gather again. Their lives are at risk. They consider it a great gift to gather together. So I said, receive these words of blessing with hope and cherish them until we can gather again. This is how the church around the world is forced to live and work. The places where the church is most vibrant is not in places where there is a guaranteed gathering. Many churches around the world have no sure time to gather or place to gather, and they're not sure when they're going to be able to gather again. So in this life of striving to be good neighbors, in doing so, we are standing in solidarity with the true church, and we're joining in their good work. Each week we say we will help one another in real ways. Thank you for doing just that. I am proud to be your pastor. Please call on us at any time. Grace and peace to you, friends.